different today. We're doing kind of a post game on last night's Beyond Wrestling's Project Reality show, which was an amazing show, which is why I'm kind of doing this today. It was a great show. So I wanted to do a quick kind of a run through of how the show went, some of the highlights of the show. No guests today. We're working on guests in the future. Certainly appreciate all the support I'm getting and feedback. Any feedback, you can always reach me at Matt P. Douglas on Twitter. You can DM me there, or you can shoot me an email at turnbandwagon@gmail.com. Let's get to the show. Back at the White Eagle, kind of Beyond Wrestling's home. Seen many shows there, so this is just one of many to come, hopefully. First matchup on this show was Chris Dickinson versus Teddy Goods. This was a lot of emotion in this match. Chris Dickinson and Teddy Goods are friends. They're, when Chris was training and earlier in his career, he lived up here for a bit. Him and Teddy lived together. They were roommates and they were buddies. And Chris and them have moved just in different paths. Chris has popped up in all these different places, New Japan, and Teddy Goods is a New England institution. I've seen the guy at shows up here for, small shows of 30 people and then bigger shows like Beyond and that last night. Teddy's also a small business owner. He runs Kojo's Toy World in New Bedford, Massachusetts. That's where he's from. Solid match. Both these guys are solid wrestlers. Chris is the gatekeeper, the backbone of Beyond. Teddy, again, institution up here. Just a great back and forth. Teddy has said in an interview with Paul Crockett that he wanted the best that Chris could bring in. Chris gave him 110% and Teddy gave him 110%. And it was a solid match. It continues in the tradition of Beyond Wrestling having great opening matches. It's kind of an interesting thing that Beyond started doing that, and then other places around here started doing that. Great match. Chris Dickinson did get the win, but he did show a tremendous amount of respect for Teddy after the match, and it was solid. Teddy should be a Beyond regular. We should be seeing him in a Beyond ring every time they have a show, as much as his schedule allows. Again, he's a small business owner. Check down his business at Kojo's Toy World. You can find them on Twitter. And support a small business and support an independent wrestler guy who's done the work, been up and down the roads. And that was a great way to open the show. Again, we're at the White Eagle. Next match of this was one I was kind of looking forward to. We got Edith Surreal versus Alec Price. Edith Surreal is formerly known as Still Life with Apricots and Pears, and the young gun, the young buck, the Price City OG, Alec Price, who we've interviewed here on the show before. Both of them would be, to use a sports term, they'd be long wrestlers. They're both lanky, but they have very different styles of approaching wrestling. Edith is a very technical kind of submission, grapple based, likes to keep a slower pace in wrestling. Alec is very he's hyperactive. To understate a point, he is just all gas, no brakes when he comes out. So it was an interesting clash of styles with two similarly looking wrestlers. Also, and Edith's gear, she was racking like the red and goldish gear, which is a great gear set for her. All her gear, which I believe some is designed by Solo Darling and some by others, looks good. Alex got a new set of gear that he's been rocking too. But a good back and forth. Alec had really wanting the win, went after Edith's mask multiple times, finally got it turned around, used that to get the W. I feel like this isn't the last time we'll see them wrestle, though. Alec just made his Beyond debut last month at the April Fool's show. This was just his second match in Beyond, but he's been in places like Limitless, Chaotic. He's appeared at Northeast Wrestling, so he's a guy on the come up, and he wants to, make himself known. Edith has had great matches with Dark Sheik, with Masha Slamovich. Has been racking them up, and I think Edith's also going to be part of a Day in the Life series on IWTV, so check that out when that drops, and I believe the trailer for that just dropped today. Next matchup was kind of a good old-fashioned Hoss fight, kind of a match you would see on WCW Saturday Night back in the day. Robo the Punjabi Lion out of Rhode Island and Rhode Island, Punjab, India, by way of Rhode Island, and the one called Manders, who's been a while since he's been in Beyond Wrestling. I believe last year or the year before was the last time he'd been around. This was a solid matchup just because both these guys, big, solid, but just approach wrestling different ways. Robo can be technical, he can be a brawler, he can be a striker. But Manders is like this 21st century version of like Stan Hansen, Blackjack Mulligan, and like a little Bruiser Brody mixed in. So to watch these two clash, also Robo's got a great drop kick. Manders has got that ridiculous lariat that decapitates people. Both those moves came out. Robo got the win, and I was a little surprised with this. That to me, that's, I mean, not to shade Robo, but to me, that's an upset because Manders had been on a roll. But I feel like, again, this is one of those matches where it can happen again, and the result may be different. But Robo absolutely looked great. Outlasted Manders. Manders kind of made some mistakes here and there, and Manders was a little salty at the end there. So hopefully this isn't the last time we see that matchup. Next match was a tag team match. I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling. And it was the Sea Stars, the tag team of Ashley Vox and Delmy Exo versus the team of Pretty Proper, which is the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin, and Lady Frost. This was a fun match. I'm a huge tag team wrestling fan. That's kind of my thing, and I talk about it on the show a lot. Both these teams, also great looking gear. I'm a big fan of gear and costumes and that sort of thing. The Sea Stars have like their red and blue thing going. They have these nice little track jackets, which are really cool and pretty proper. Both Victor Benjamin and Lady Frost have their own kind of styles, but in their gear, there are components. They have like this green gold color scheme that seems to match between them. Solid match back and forth. A lot of tandem offense from Pretty Proper on this. I believe Lady Frost was a gymnast in a former life, so you see a lot of that on display. A lot of her getting tossed, but her assisting in launching Victor Benjamin at people. And on the Sea Star side, Delmy and Ashley as sisters have a chemistry and a continuity that works so well. Also, Ashley Vox will just fight you. Pretty much, no matter how big you are, no matter how mean you are, she will get in your face, she will fight you, and she will look to get that fish hook in. Solid match. Shout out to Lady Frost. She got a lot of work in this match. She appeared in the Masked Wrestler as well. And again, this is just sometimes that happens with tag team matches. One part gets a little bit more than the other, and some matches it's Victor, some matches it's Lady Frost. Lady Frost kind of stood out in this match. She's also a solid singles wrestler. I enjoyed this. This was fun. Sea Stars got the win, but it definitely worked, and I hope to see more of Pretty Proper and Beyond Wrestling. I've seen them in other places, but getting a chance to see them in person is always solid. And that was fun. So the next match was as scheduled. It was supposed to be Matt Makowsky versus Richard Holiday. But Cam Zagami, aka Club Cam, felt the need to make his presence known and stride out to the ring. Cam is, when he walks out, it smells like high karate and low self-esteem. He's just, I need 5 showers when he walks out, maybe 6. Matt Makowsky then came out and murdered Cam. Cam was dead. You can see the pictures on Twitter. Cam did not have a good time. I don't know if he was trying to reopen Club Cam, but the club is being closed, possibly condemned. Moving on, Matt Makowsky versus Richard Holiday. I was looking forward to this because this was a definite like clash of styles type match. Makowsky, is from the world of MMA. He's wrestled them. He's fought in Bellator. He brings a lot of striking, grappling, his own style. Richard Holiday, however, is more of he's a professional wrestler. Capital P, capital W, professional wrestler. Walks, talks, he is the goods, as they say. Um, Looks at talks it solid back and forth with these two. Matt Makowsky has been busting out some brand new moves the past few months. He's got this kind of like jumping Showtime kick that he throws off a corner. Holidays, Holidays got his stuff. He's got the 2008, but also Holidays very methodical, very efficient, no wasted movement. Um, it was a great contest. Looked like for a while Richard Holiday kind of had the advantage, but Makowski has shown great resilience. And being able to kind of not come from behind, but in a match where it looks like he may not win, he kind of swoops up and gets a kick, gets a hit, gets an armbar. He's got this thing that he does where he throws somebody on his shoulders or on the top rope and then throws them in the air and lands them into an armbar. It's ridiculous. He's got a name for it. I think it's called the Geiger Flare. Some of you out there will get that reference. I do. It's up to you. If you don't know, Google it. Matt Makowsky does get the win, but Holiday had something to say after the match that Makowsky did not pin him, which happened. He tapped out, but Holiday said he had something with his elbow. He tapped out because he wanted to. Makowsky seemed happy with the W, but Holiday wanted to be a little salty afterwards. Again, this is another match. I'd watch this 4 more times because both these guys are just that good. It was an enjoyable contest. I've been a fan of Richard Holiday. He's a Connecticut guy. I'm from Connecticut, so I'm going to kind of cheer for him. Makowski's great. All his matches have been great. It's 2 great, talented wrestlers, good at what they do, looking very different because, again, very different styles. And I watch them wrestle a bunch more times. Next matchup, which was another one I was looking forward to. This is Solo Darling versus Aaron Rourke. We've interviewed Aaron Rourke here before. Aaron Rourke is another young up-and-comer. He's out of the Creative Pro School in Long Island. That's the school run by Brian Myers and Pat Buck. Notable alumni include Chris Statlander and Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So you're definitely getting also Max Caster. Aaron Rourke is his own animal. This guy is, the 20. He's got the DNA of like Gorgeous George and Adrian Street in him. He's got the cape, he's got the look, the disdain. Even from a year ago to now, there's been a huge change in his physique, how he carries himself, his moves. He's very crisp. He's very quick. Facing off against Solo Darling, who I've been a fan of for a long time since her days back at Chikara and Shimmer and the whole Sugar Creature thing. She's been lately, the past couple of years, she makes all her own gear. So there's been a lot of different gear looks. She busted out the curls, which is a lot more to her natural hair look. Was a great look. She had this great floral gear set that was nice. Aaron had said some not so nice things to Willow when he wrestled Willow Nightingale, Solo's tag partner, last month. So Solo was ready for him. The bell didn't even hit, and she went right after him. They went at it. This was a little bit less a wrestling match and more of a fight. Back and forth. Solo had him for a bit, tried to get him in the sharp stinger a couple times to get him to tap out. Aaron Rourke wiggled out of it, got in a bunch of good shots on her, ended up getting the W, got the win. I love Solo, but this was Aaron Rourke. As the match went on, it looked like he was going to persevere, and he did. And I feel like this isn't the last time we're going to see Solo, Aaron Rourke, maybe even Willow. There's a lot swirling around here, and Aaron Rourke's going to get a chance to really showcase how good he is to the Beyond audience. And Solo is a kind of this new phase of her career too. So we're seeing different things from her too. So this was, again, solid contest. I enjoyed it. Everyone seemed to like it. And we'll see. Maybe I'll try and interview Aaron again if he has time for me. Probably not, because, he's a little too, probably a little too good for us at this point. Next match was another fun one, another tag team match, which was the Shook Crew, Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan with Bobby Jr. Taking on the team Rex Lawless and Mike Verna, who are now team calling themselves the Goodfellas. So the Man of Steel, Mike Verna, and Lawless Rex Muscarella. This was a fun one. Bryce and Bobby are endlessly entertaining. The Shook Crew have a way of getting a great reaction out of the crowd, be it good or bad. And Vernon Rex Lawless or Lawless Rex. Want to make sure I say that correct. I don't want Rex or Mike mad at me. They're just great, solid. I don't want to say throwback tag team, but they're, when you think of like tag team wrestling, those are guys I can kind of think of. You'd see them on an episode of like Monday Night Raw or something, taking on the Headbangers. It feels like that sort of feel. Solid match. Probably a little shorter than I would have liked. Bryce and Bobby did get the win. They are 2-0 since being back at the White Eagle. They call it their quote unquote undefeated streak until Slade showed up. Anyone that's followed the Shook Crew over the past few months since this last summer, they've had an issue with Slade. So wherever they are, Slade seems to show up and just beat the crap out of them. And that happened. Bobby Orlando went through a table. Hope he's okay. And this whole issue with Slade and the Shook Crew, I don't know how it gets resolved. He says he wants to fight Max Caster one-on-one, and he wants a fight. So I don't know what that means for Bryce and Bobby, but I think if Slade wants something, we should just give it to him because he scares me. Next up was this was the match before the main event. Typically matches before the main events tend to be a little more quote unquote low key to get people ready for the main event. This wasn't that. Kimberly returning to Beyond versus Masha Slamovich. Kimber, currently of Impact Wrestling in the Great Knockouts division there. Beyond's, her home. She's competed there for a number of years before. Kimber has also been Shimmer champion, former Chicago Grand champion. She's accomplished in professional wrestling. And then you've got Masha Slamovich, who since returning from her extended trip to Japan has been on a tear. She has been on an absolute tear. She's had great matches. If she's lost a couple, it's only been like one or two. But anyone who gets into a ring with Masha is going to know they've been in a fight. This was Kimber's style of wrestling has always kind of been letting her opponents kind of come to her and then exploiting their weaknesses. The issue is Masha seems to not have any holes in her game right now. A lot of counter holds, a lot of kicks, a lot of strikes. Kimber threw out like two versions of the alligator clutch. Her pinning move, she threw out an inverted version. She got the one with a big power bomb. She drove Masha right into the mat and dropped her with the alligator clutch. After the match, she tried to pick Masha up and give her a handshake. Masha wasn't having it and power bombed her, gave her the finger and stormed off. And then there was an interesting tweet from Kimber's Impact Wrestling cohort, Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo, basically indicating that she would like to see Masha try and disrespect her like that. Champ, I'm pretty sure if you want to come on back to Beyond and address this with Masha, the crew would be more than happy to see you. So you just roll on back, and we'll enjoy that. And the main event of the show was pretty much established at the end of the April show when Wheeler Yuta called out IWTV champ Lee Moriarty, Tiger style, all caps. When that match was announced, it was very clear that this was going to be a wrestling match, and I underestimated it. This thing went 50 plus minutes. This match probably is going to be match of the year, and the only other match that I can think would be close, it would be a wide margin, and that's not to disrespect the second place, but this is easily, to me, match of 2021 as far as the independent scene goes. This thing went 50 plus minutes, and everything you could want in a match happened. Striking, grappling, submissions, technical prowess. This is probably the kind of match that if you're in training, you probably want to sit down and watch and grind the tape. And the interesting part of this is typically when you have shows like this, wrestlers come out and will watch the main event, if they're at their merch tables or they just come out and watch. It's always interesting to watch wrestlers watch wrestling because it's their peers. But there were a couple folks, and I won't blow up their spot, who were watching this match, who were studying this match. Folks who were watching didn't have their phones out, weren't talking to anybody, weren't worried about their merch. They're watching this match. Wheeler Yuta got the win after, again, a 50-plus minute, pulling everything out of the bag that you can pull out. He finally got him, Yuta didn't get him with that, and then flipped him into, arm bars left and right. They're trading arm bars, trading holds. Wheeler gets the pin, and, he had said he was going to get that title. And here's the thing, as far as that IWTV title is concerned, Yuta may get booed. I was one people who kind of booed him, but we've always kind of respected Wheeler Yuta here. That IWTV title is coveted, and it now resides on the East Coast. As far as most would be concerned, it resides at Beyond Wrestling. Anyone who wants that title kind of has to come up here to come and get it. I am of the belief that the East Coast, probably from DMV on up to New England, this is where the best wrestling talent on the scene is right now. And you can make a case for like Chicago with Freelance and AIW, and you can kind of make a case for the South right now with Action and Southern Underground Pro and New South. But I think if you want to make your name and you want the smoke, you've got to jump on 985 and come on up this way and see how it works out for you. Again, this was a great show. The replay should be up on IWTV within the next day or so. The Beyond shows always do great numbers. There's a lot of engagement. People, they get written about in Sports Illustrated. They get coverage everywhere. And I'm privileged enough to be able to go to these shows and enjoy my time at the White Eagle. But again, you can track this show down. IWTV, $10 a month. Very much worth it. You get IWTV, you get Southern Underground Pro, you get Freelance, you get all their stuff on there, and they're signing up new promotions almost every month, it seems. So check it out. The next show coming up, I believe, is sometime in June. They've not officially announced it yet, but it looks like that's what's happening. And maybe we'll see someone like, Deonna Purrazzo pop up, or you never know who else. People tend to show up in Beyond that have been there before, be a Platinum Max last month, Bear Country showing up last month. We'll see. You folks have a good one. Again, you want to reach me, you can reach me at Matt P. Douglas on Twitter. You can always DM me, or you can email the show, Turnbuckle Bandwagon at turnbandwagon@gmail.com. Once again, folks, check it out. Worth your time. And y'all have a good one.